Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Health Movement Podcast. I'm your host, Derek. I'm a teacher for over 20 years and a certified personal trainer. I have an incredible guest with me today. But before I introduce her, I just want to say that we're not doctors. So before you change any programming, nutritioning, anything like that, please check with your physician. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please follow, like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff that everyone always asks you to do. So, all right, now that that's all out of the way, I would like to introduce the guest today. Hen Skupekova is here from London, which I really appreciate. So, Hen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here.
Now, I was looking at some of the information you have on your pages, and it says you're the owner of the Gym Lounge, which looks the vibe in that place looks incredible. Which I love. And then you're also a fitness competitor and you're a bikini boutique sponsored athlete as well. Can you just talk about a little bit maybe how fitness became a big part of your life? Because it seems to be a huge part of your life.
It is literally my whole life. It's like 24/7. It's all fitness. So I've always been kind of a sporty person, I think you could call it. So, I always did a little bit of here, a little bit of that, just bits throughout the school and stuff. And before I got into fitness, I actually used to be a dancer.
Oh, nice.
Street dance, hip hop and stuff. So that is the main thing that actually made me move to London, because I wanted to pursue that. And that was my big thing, because I come from Slovakia. It's quite a small country, not a lot of opportunities. And I always knew I wanted something bigger for myself, something, there is the whole world out there and I'm going to move out one day. So I did. And I just picked London, got to London, tried to follow my dancing career and do all the auditions. And I just wanted to be like a backup dancer for singers. That was like a dream for me, I used to love it. And it was great. But I always say is the biggest disappointment that I got in dancing that brought me into fitness, because there was one big audition one day and I failed it and I didn't get through, and I sort of got very upset by it, disappointed, and started rethinking my whole life, if you want to call it that. And I just randomly just went and I was just like, I'm just going to sign up to the gym, because what else am I going to do whilst I think about what the next step is? So I literally just randomly signed up to the gym, met my partner now there. He used to work in the gym. He signed me up. So that's a great story as well.
That is good.
So we met like that, but I wasn't really into like weightlifting or anything. It was just, one of those members who just come in, walk or run on a treadmill. That's all I could do, because I didn't know any different. So that's what I was doing until I met my partner, and he was a PT in that particular gym, and he sort of just was showing me bits. We started training together, and the more weights I started doing, like the more obviously I started seeing on myself the results and the way the body was shaping and everything. And I was like, you know what, like I love it. This is great. I was like, I want more of this. So I sort of got into it for fun, right? Like I didn't have any aspirations like I want to compete or anything. It was just literally for fun, go in, lift weights, have a great time. That's it. And it was just randomly one day my partner asked me like, would you ever done a competition? And I'm like, well, I never thought about it, but why not? As a challenge, why not? I'm always up for anything. I always like to challenge myself. So I was like, yeah, let's sort of do it. So that was supposed to be just one of competition, me just going, up there prepping. We were prepping, well, he was prepping me, so I was prepping myself. Got up there on stage, and that was supposed to be it. But I've done that one competition. I got off stage, and I was like, I freaking love this, like, because it was so close to dancing. Because I love dancing because of the stage and because of performing. Right, that was my thing. And obviously, the bikini competitions is like performing. You are on stage, you're showing off your body, you're in some certain way performing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So it was
movement
very,
involved with it,
it
and
is,
it's not
yeah.
just stand up there and
It's a whole
flex.
performance,
Yeah,
exactly. It's not just, yeah, it's not just about how you look, it's the posing and everything. So yes, I've done that one competition, and I was like, you know what, maybe I just want to keep doing that, and it just sort of went from there.
that's awesome.
So yes, I always say it's the biggest disappointment of my life in dancing that brought me into fitness and competing and everything. And obviously, once I started doing this, I've sort of fell into it properly, and I was like, I'm gonna get qualified. I'll become a PT. I want to do this for other women. I want to help women feel the way I started feeling once I started lifting weights, because it was such an empowering thing for me. Like, you know, you go in, you lift heavy weights, and you're like, wow, like I can conquer the world.
Yes,
Like, it was just that kind of feeling that was good, man. I was like, every woman needs to feel like that. So that was the reason why I then, you know, qualified as a PT, and just started from there my whole career as a PT, as a competitor. And it was
that
just
was
sort
it.
of, yeah.
I love it. I like. Can I ask you about when you first moved out there? I imagine, did you know anybody when you moved to London, or did you just up and go?
So actually, I had my best friend here. He was already
Okay.
here. He always used to like travel the world, and he was in Dublin first, and then he ended up in London. And when I said I always wanted to go somewhere, I was like, why don't you come here? So I had him here, which was very helpful, because I can't really imagine just going
Yeah,
into a completely different country and just. It was still starting from scratch, because I needed to find a job. I needed to
yep,
get myself going, obviously, but at least he was sort of pointing me the right direction, like you need to go and do this, and sort of went from there. So luckily, I had a little bit of help,
that's
so that was
good.
great.
And everybody needs a little bit of help, at certain points in their
Oh yeah,
life, and you can't be too
100%.
stubborn and not ask and think you can do it alone. So
That's
yeah,
it. I'll never say that I got where I am today because I did it all myself. That's not true in any
no,
way. That is, you meet people, and I'm one of those people who believe you don't meet people by accident. There is always a reason, behind it to shape you and to get you where you need to be. And that's sort of the story with, you mentioned the gym
yep,
lounge, which is our gym now. So, um, me and my partner, we started as just as PTs in a gym. We were working for someone
yep.
else in the gym as PTs until we decided to open a little PT studio ourselves. And then one of my clients actually down the line, like 4 years later, became our investor. And that is how we opened the gym
Ah,
lounge. So it's like, yeah,
that's awesome.
it's a whole another story.
Yeah, no, that's really cool though, and obviously somebody who saw your work ethic and understood what and I'm pretty sure they could envision what the gym lounge would turn into. You don't
Yeah.
know somebody for 4 years and then invest without really being confident in that
Yeah,
person's
exactly.
ability.
Yeah.
So that's
But I think you could tell, that we're passionate about what we're doing. Uh, he's a businessman and investor, so I was like, you know what, guys, I just wanna, I wanna do something together. I wanna invest in you, and we were just like, yeah, why not? Like, we've got nothing to lose,
yeah,
so we just went from there. Now we are so proud about the gym. Like, we still want to grow and get more, locations and everything. But even that one little gym was supposed to be. It's in a small village in Surrey, in UK. So it was supposed to be a very small, like 300, 400 people.
yep.
Nothing, nothing bigger than that. And now 3 years later, we are at almost 1,000 members in a really small
Wow,
village. No one saw that coming, and I am just so proud that we just managed to do it. It's
that's
really, really
awesome. Do
good.
you have another location you opened up or that you're opening up?
So we sort of then from that spin into a different business area. Last year, we started TGL, the Gym Lounge Management, which is going into sort of residential
Okay.
sites. So instead of a commercial normal gyms, we sort of help manage. We're taking over residential gyms and manage those, but that's
Wow.
like a separate thing. But we still want another commercial big
Yes.
gym, like. But I'm sure that will come.
Yeah, it's still
That's
like
that's
3 years is
in the works.
still
So
relatively young in
yeah,
terms of a business, but the fact that you tripled your expected outcome there,
yeah,
even
that was
more than that.
no one expected that. It was
That's
great.
amazing. That's amazing. So you you came for dance. Can I ask how long that I don't want to say that dream lasted, but like, I don't want it to say, because I found in having these conversations with a lot of different people, nobody's first plan seems to work out. You try something, it doesn't work, you pick yourself back up, and eventually you kind of find your calling in what you're most passionate about. So how long did the dancing go for in London?
In London, I think once I got to London, I think it lasted only about a year until I was but I've danced my whole life. I've danced since I was 7, so it was like that was my thing. I didn't know anything else. But once I got to London, I think it was only just about a year, and then I was just like, this is not really, it was almost like I was just getting signs that it's not supposed to happen, if you know what I mean.
It just wasn't, the passion wasn't there.
And then obviously, like I said, I ended in fitness, and I wouldn't change it now. Like, it was just supposed to be the way that was. So
that's awesome.
I still love dancing. I still love to go back to it as a hobby. I haven't got time now.
Well, I'm sure when the music comes on, the dancing comes out. You can dance always.
Yeah, that's it.
That's great.
That's the plan.
That's kind of how this show evolved. I became certified about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, and I was working with some people on a local baseball AAU program. And I was trying to get online clients, and like there are thousands and thousands of people who are doing that. So I started this with a friend. I love talking fitness, and it's important. I'm passionate about it, but it was also a way to get some social proof out there that I have somewhat of an idea of what I'm talking about. And then it just kind of changed into this. I love, like, this is fun. And I put all that other stuff on the back burner so I could focus on this. And it's funny how that happens. You get a taste of something. You're like, wait, I like that a little bit more. It's funny how that works out.
I think it's just you just feel it inside, like that. This is supposed to be me. This is this is what I'm supposed to be doing as well.
Yeah, and there's so many different stories, in you have your fitness I can't speak, the fitness competiting background in what you've been doing now. And I've spoken to a couple different people who are in the fitness competition world, but everybody's story is vastly different. And their focus is, while they might go on stage, you have yourself a gym with your partner. Can I ask what your partner's name is?
It's Terry.
Okay.
Terry Ellis.
I feel better referring to him as Terry as opposed to, just the title. But like, it gave you and Terry a chance to build something together, which I'm sure makes it that much more special. And going through the show together and all that, like that's an incredible journey that you guys have gone on together.
It is. We always get asked, like, because we obviously work together. We live together, we work together. It's just we're constantly together. But I would say it just works. Like, we are, I don't want to say two different people, but we sort of are. Like, literally, I always say that we're like a puzzle. Like, you've got two totally different pieces, but somehow it just clicks.
It just fits.
So we've got the main things in common, which is obviously passion for fitness and all this. So even though we are two different personalities, it just works. So
it would be boring if you two were exactly the same. I don't think anybody should. I can't stand myself enough as it is. I can't imagine another one of me that I have to hang out with.
Yeah, I wouldn't want another one of me. Like, definitely wouldn't.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's next? I know you're saying you want to open up another location eventually for the gym lounge, and obviously that's not something you want to rush into, but what do you have lined up coming up? Do you have any other shows, or you've got?
Oh yeah. So I'm currently like trying to, obviously, as I'm working on my business and trying to grow that, I'm trying to grow as a professional athlete as well, and in the pro league, and sort of climb up the ranks. So I've turned pro 2 years ago. So
congratulations.
I've been competing for thank you. I've been competing for 5-6 years as an amateur until I turned pro. Once I got into it, I really wanted. I was just like, I just want to turn pro one day. So I worked for it literally 5 years until it happened. It was a long time, but again, it was worth it, right? So I turned pro 2 years ago, which almost feels like I needed to start from the beginning again, because you start competing in a pro league and it's like it's a different level, right? Everyone is a different level, on a different level. You know, the competition is much higher. And so that was another challenge for me, which I love, because I love always working towards something, right? So, so I'm currently trying to climb up the ranks within IFBB Pro League. So I'm currently in prep as well. I'm going to go back in September, end of September. I think I'll do a few shows in Europe, but then I'm going to go back to America. I competed in America for the first time last year.
Where was that?
And it was amazing. It was amazing.
Where in America were you?
We went to Seattle first.
Oh, nice.
And then we went from Seattle, we went to Reno.
Oh, awesome.
And it was just, I mean, everything was slightly different. Everything was better. Like, the competitions here in Europe are great, but everything started in America, didn't it? So, you know, it was just so good.
You
so
picked the furthest place away from you in America too. You didn't go East Coast or Central. You went, all right, I'm going as far west as possible here.
I don't know. There are so many shows, so it was literally just up to me to pick which shows I wanted. These are the two I picked. They were great. And I just said, you know what, from now on, I just want to compete in America. So I'll probably do only a few shows in Europe this year, and then I'll go to America. But I want to do like 3-4 shows back to back, just to, you know,
once you go through the prep, you're already there. You might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I do have to warn you though, just every sort of section and region in America is like its own country. Like, if you come to the Northeast, it's very different than the Northwest, and then down south, and they're all their own little countries. So even different parts in Massachusetts. If you're from South Boston, you are very, very different than if you're from Central Massachusetts or Eastern or Western. It's funny, but I'm sure that's everywhere in London and England and all over the place.
You get it here as well.
It's funny.
Absolutely.
That's funny. So that's there. What have been the biggest struggles that you've faced in this whole process as you changed? I pretty much changed identities from a dancer now to a business owner, you know, fitness professional.
Biggest struggle. I wouldn't. For most people, that is a struggle, but it's gonna sound so weird now, because I actually love any kind of struggle, and I think this is why I do bodybuilding. I've got sort of like, and I kept talking about it the other day on my Instagram as well, that I am attracted to things that are hard or things that will make me struggle. I don't know. It's just who I am, right? Like, I wouldn't want things to be easy all the time. Challenge. There is no satisfaction in that for me, or, you know, like, there is no growth. And I've always, since I started doing this, I feel like I've grown so much as a coach as well, for obviously my clients. I've grown so much as a person within the sport. And that is because I want to learn, and I learn from people who know more than me. And I think that you could call that a struggle at the beginning, that you don't know everything, and that is a struggle because you need to find yourself. But I feel like if you're willing to learn and, you know, sort of put your ego aside, I suppose, that, you know, I know it all now. I'm one of those people that I still got a coach right now. Yeah. And it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing perfectly, and I do it for other people. But, you know, but there is always someone who knows more than you. There is always someone, you know, who can push you further. And I think I see that, which other people would see the struggle. For me, is like, I want to keep doing this. I wanna have this kind of struggle where it makes me feel like maybe I don't know it all yet. And then if you understand my point, what I'm trying to say.
100% understand. I think that's awesome. And there's no growth without struggle. Like, if there's no struggle, you stay exactly the same. And it in terms of like physiology, I butchered that word there. I'm not even, but like physically, your muscles aren't growing unless they go through a struggle. The same thing with trying to run faster or get more flexible.
100%.
You have to push yourself,
or just the way you think as well. You know, like,
and
there's always
one of your reels that you had that I liked was what lifting should look like, and you put up what you know, just going through these motions are not building anything. You've got to struggle.
It's 2025, and you would think that fitness is such a popular thing right now and people would know, even basics like that. But I still find that people don't quite understand it. Like everyone keeps talking about, they want to look better, they want to lose fat, they want to build muscle, and that's great. And then they just feel like all it takes is just going to the gym and lift weights. Well, anyone can go and lift weights. I always say that to clients, right? Like without making or offending someone right now, I always say to clients, Susan down the road can go in and lift weights. Yeah, that's just a half of the recipe for where you want to be. And I had a fair share of clients before in the past where when I work with someone or with a client, I like to see them training, right? Which obviously then comes with my feedback and my critique on their training. And some people are not prepared to hear it. They get so defensive and they're like, oh no, but I've always done it that way. And
well,
I'm
then
like,
you've always done it
and
wrong.
yet you're here asking me for help. So you know what I mean? Like, like for me, for example, I think my training has evolved quite a bit over the past few years. And I still send my training to my coach just in case there is any extra little tweak I can make in an exercise that will make it even better, that will engage the muscles even better. I am all up for that. So I still get critiqued by my coach, and I've been doing this for 8 years. And if I say so myself, I train hard. I train like my training is very, very good, and it has become very good in the past few years. There's always room to improve, but I want to hear that. I want to hear when he says, yeah, this is good, but because that but is eventually gonna make me lift the weight better, which obviously translates in better visuals. But then you deal with some people, and you critique, let's change this or let's do this, and they're like, oh no, but I feel it better that way, and I'm like, yeah, well, okay. So it's like you need to be open to growth, I suppose, and a feedback, and that's how the growth happens.
Absolutely. I teach 10 and 11-year-olds, and one of the comments I like to make is you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you talk. Which that's exactly what you can always learn, you can always improve, you can always get better. And it's not a knock on you. And like you said, ego is such a big thing that people have, that you need to be humble enough to realize 100%. You're not good at something, and that's great. Then, like you said, you have a new challenge that you can accomplish.
And that is also, when I look back at my training videos from, for example, 3-4 years ago, I'm like proper cringing now. I'm like, oh my God, what I was doing it. But this is great because it makes me feel so good that I've came from there to where I am now. Like that there wouldn't be anything worse than, staying the same over the years. And that applies to training, that applies to visuals, that applies to my mind. I would hate that.
I've even noticed that with just doing this show. I looked back at the first couple episodes and it's like, ooh, that was rough.
That's exactly
and I'm sure I'll look back at this one in a couple of years and be like, oh, what were you doing there, buddy? Like,
but it's because you're open to growing,
absolutely.
Right? So if anyone critiques or gives you feedback, you take it on board. Like if anyone gives me feedback on anything, I always take it on board. I don't feel like, oh, but I know the best.
I'm not offended by it. And even if I might be quote unquote more qualified in a certain area than somebody else, it doesn't mean that they don't have ideas or ways they're doing something that I've never thought of. And almost it seems better the fresher the idea, or the newer the individual, the less constrained they are by their previous thoughts and the way they've done things in the past. So they're more open-minded, which I think is awesome. So the fact that that's your attitude and the way you've taken it, like it sounds like you could switch gears to like horse training and, horse racing, and you'd be great. And then like, a knitting company, and you'd figure that one out too.
I'm currently learning to drive, and it's going well.
Oh, so very nice. Very nice. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So hopefully I'll pass that soon. Yeah, that's my new thing. I love it.
Yeah, you don't have to drive much in your
I didn't need to when I lived directly in London, because obviously, you've got the underground and everything, so you don't need car. But then we moved to the countryside a little bit outside of the London, and that was a shock to my system because the public transport is like once every 2 hours or something. And even the way where from where I live to our gym is 12-minute drive. Yeah, straightforward road, 12-minute drive. If I wanted to go by a bus, it would take me hour and 45 minutes to get there because the bus doesn't go direct. It goes around. So I'm like, okay, so I need to learn how to
Yes,
drive.
you do. What about a bike ride? Can you hop on one of those?
No. I could, but I'm not a fan of. Yeah, no,
not your thing.
not
That's
for me.
good.
No.
That's good to know. That's definitely good to know.
I used to fall off my bike when I was a kid quite a bit. So I think it's a trauma from my childhood. So
A
I'd be
little
like,
PTSD
no.
from the bike. I get that
Yeah,
completely. That's good.
That's it.
When you started the new gym with Terry, was this something you guys were nervous about, or had you guys gone through enough together or nervous but excited, a combination of a couple things?
So when we first used to work together in a gym for someone else in London, we always said, because of how that gym was being run and the people you got there, and we always said like we would never want a gym our own, like we wouldn't. Yeah, so that was not our plan at some point to have a gym. We wanted a PT studio, just deal with one-to-one clients, maybe some group training, that's it. But we never wanted like a proper size, commercial gym. Until obviously my client who became our investor suggested it, and he had this space where our gym is now, which is now, like I said, on the countryside. So we were like, okay, we want to go and have a look at it, but we'll see. And we were driving down the country roads, and Terry was like, I can't see this like working out. Like, where are we? This middle of nowhere. What is this gonna be? It's not gonna be worth it. What are we doing? But we sort of saw the space, and like I said at the beginning, I'm I'm one of those people who believe everything happens for a reason. So I'm like, this wouldn't happen if it wasn't supposed to be leading somewhere. So I was like, why don't we just try it? And I'd rather try and fail than not try, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's try it. Let's open the gym. And we even at that point worked with like I suppose you can call it like a marketing consultant or something. And the way we wanted our gym or what we had the vision, and she was saying this is not gonna work because of the demographic in this area. And at that point, we were just thinking, like, what are we doing? This is not gonna work. Like, people not gonna accept the way we train. We are the gym is supposed to be. So we were like really nervous, I suppose, about it, and just like not quite sure if this is gonna work. And then we've opened it, and we just made it. I'm saying we because I believe it's because of me and Terry that we created that like a friendly community. It's literally a community. So it sounds so cheesy, but everyone knows everyone's name. You walk in a gym, right? And my staff, the staff that we've got, they know everything about every single member who walks through the gym, right? In London, you wouldn't get that.
Yeah.
Because people are not friendly. They don't really want to talk. They're a little bit standoffish, which is fine. And you usually get that in like like these big chain gyms like Pure Gym and all these other gyms. So this is what we didn't want. We wanted a gym where everyone would feel good, including women, especially because they get intimidated in a lot of gyms, right? So that was sort of my mission to make sure that this doesn't happen, and that it's a really good space where we've got people from 16-year-old and we've got 70-year-old, and everyone just gets along with each other. It's such a great.
That's amazing.
It's a great atmosphere, and we get these comments a lot, almost on a daily basis, where someone comes from a different gym, signs up with us, and they're like, "This is just so good. It's so different to my previous gym, right? Like, I don't feel intimidated. I can go and train, and no one, stares at me or give me, what I mean." So I think we've managed to create such a good, almost like a bubble, within the gym. It's so good. So we are very proud of that.
And that's not
So now
cheesy
we're like,
at all. Like community,
I know,
the community piece is huge because it can be intimidating going in and not knowing what you're doing. It is for everybody when you start.
yeah,
But if you have that environment that you and Terry have fostered, like that's huge, you know. And then I
Yeah.
think whatever plans you guys have going forward, bringing that sense of community, word's going to spread, and people are like, listen, you got
Yeah.
to go to
That's
Hen and
what we want.
Terry's, and
Yeah.
that's the place to be. So that's
I just wish we could clone ourselves sometimes, you know, because it's like even even the way we run things, you know, like we run lots of programs within our gym, like a group PT and stuff like that. And we've got great personal trainers in the gym, don't get me wrong, but you always get there like, oh, can you just then you and Terry run it? And I'm like, yeah, but I can't be doing this and this and this. I wish I could clone myself, but I cannot. So it'd be great if we found another couple like us. But at the same time, it's great to see that, you know, that we did that and people are asking for us. And, you
makes
know,
you feel
everyone
like
is
you're doing it
just,
right. And I think
yeah,
people appreciate hard work and passion and whatever. I
yeah,
think and I see this at school with the students, you know, they're at that age where they're trying to figure out their identity. And I just keep trying to tell them, just don't worry about trying to fit into some certain box. Just be you.
yeah,
And people are going to
yeah,
respect you for you. They're not going to respect you for trying to be something you're not. So
100%.
you and Terry have found what makes you guys you,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
incredible. That's awesome. Um, so you guys have that going on right now. What do you guys do for fun then, or is that taking up all of your time, or is that your fun is going into the gym and seeing everybody?
I think that's our fun, but if we do get time off or a day off, a day here and there off, we love to do nothing. Literally just,
Sit.
honestly, you know, we get invited to like barbecues and this and that, and we're just like, we just want to watch Netflix and just not do anything for a couple of hours. You know what I mean? Because there's always something going on. We deal with lots of clients daily. I've got my online clients. He's got his online clients. Then we've got the gym. Then we've got the TGL management, which is the residential side of business. So you always deal with
Yeah.
something. There is even when we go on holiday, let's say, or when I'm competing and I'm traveling the world, I still work because I've got lots of clients too. And luckily I can work from anywhere in the world. So that's great. But there is no stop button. It's not like I'm going on holiday, everyone leave me alone. It just doesn't happen.
No,
Right.
not with
So
that profession.
when it does happen, when we do have few hours and, you know, everything sort of slows down. That's why I love Christmas as well, because no one cares about fitness
That's
over
true.
Christmas.
You pack it
That's
in.
my only time to truly stop. Literally 2-3 days over Christmas. It's like no one's gonna be messaging anything because everyone is like enjoying Christmas. So yeah, so our fun is literally doing nothing and watching just murder documentaries on
There you
Netflix.
go.
That's our thing.
Well, it's good that one of you isn't like, oh, let's go hiking, and the other's like, just let me sit. Give me 2 hours to breathe.
No. This is what I meant, right? Like we are different personalities, but these kind of things we have in common. So this is perfect because it works. It's not like one of us is a party, party animal, and the other one isn't. Like the most important things in life we've got in common, which is great.
Good. That is definitely good. I saw on I forget if it was LinkedIn or Instagram. You have your nutrition ebook. Can you talk a little bit about the nutrition side of things?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I've just got that little ebook which basically tells people the basics, right? Like how they should be setting up their nutrition for losing fat. Because again, like I said, 2025 and people still there is basics that I feel like everyone should know by now, but people still don't. So I just found a way, you know, just to give you the most important information in like a little ebook. It shows you how the nutrition for fat loss should look like, how to calculate your calorie deficit. 'Cause obviously, everyone knows we need to be in deficit to burn fat, and how to set up your macros. So that is what the ebook is about. But I feel like nutrition wise, a lot of people still don't understand that they are literally robbing themselves of the results they could be having just by not having the basics in the food right. Yeah. Even simple thing down to a protein intake, which is the most important thing, regardless of what you're trying to do, losing fat, building muscle. We should know by now the protein is obviously very important. And I see this on a daily basis with our members, right? Like, and I see people who come to the gym 6 days a week, yeah, train fairly hard, so the training might not be an issue, but then they're like, I'm not really progressing, nothing's really changing. And as soon as you ask them how is the food, that is just a long pause, right? Like it's just I eat fairly healthy. This is the main thing. I eat fairly healthy, and I'm like, what does that mean?
A lie.
You know, like I don't eat this or don't eat that, and I'm like, okay, great. How much calories are you eating?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There you go. That's the first issue there, right? So I feel like, and I think this is the way my LinkedIn is set up as well. I try to educate people on the fact that it's not just eating healthy, because you can easily overeat healthy food. Healthy food, whatever that is in people's minds, is still good calories, right? And people need to understand that it's. I also hate when people point out on food and they say this is bad and this is good for you, and it's just like, from what aspect? Yes, there is more nutritious food, and less nutritious, but that, however, doesn't mean that you can eat the less nutritious. Right? It's like if I'm not prepping for a competition and I'm off season, I still obviously follow my program and the food and everything, but I do allow myself, if I fancy a pizza, I have a pizza, right? And if that one pizza is not gonna erase my whole progress, and I feel like people don't understand that. So this is what my ebook is about, but also like a lot of videos on LinkedIn I put up, or on my Instagram, where I just try to get that idea out of people's heads that I shouldn't be eating this and I should only eat this, and this is healthy, this is not, and I eat healthy and I'm not losing fat means absolutely nothing. So try to, but lots of people don't take it on board. I feel like, even if I have a conversation with a member, let's say, and you can tell them exactly what to do, they're still not going to go and do it. So
it's tough.
I don't know where it goes wrong.
Well, you're not with them 24 hours a day, and they'll be great working out in maybe even a couple weeks, but the first stressful day turns into a stressful week, turns into a stressful month. And then, like you said, a pizza isn't going to throw you, set you back. 3 days straight of pizza and beer and everything else, that's going to start to do it. So it's finding that balance. And
it is finding that balance, but I always say to clients, you have to work on finding that balance. It doesn't just happen by accident. It takes most likely months of work, but once you find it, you're almost done. You don't have to ever diet again if you do. You know what I mean? I always say that to clients, like, if you do things correctly, you don't have to say, I'm going to go on another diet, because there is no such a thing. It's like when people talk about diet now with me, I'm like, this is just the way I eat. I don't call this I'm on a diet. It's just who I am by this point. And mastering that balance sometimes can take years. And people just want everything right now, right? They're not really willing to put a little bit of work in and maybe look down the line for bigger rewards down the line. They just want everything now, and I think this is the problem with a lot of people.
That instant gratification that they want, and
that's it exactly.
But
absolutely,
like you were saying earlier, I think your amateur status in the fitness competition was what, 4 years? I think 4 or 5 years. 5 years.
5, yeah.
That's a good amount of time. But if you expected it to happen in 6 months, you would have been incredibly disappointed. But
don't get me wrong, it does happen with some people, right? Like they literally turn pro at first go. I've seen it. I've got friends like that. And that's great, but unfortunately, it wasn't my case. So I just needed to work for it.
But the thing is, I feel like the first time you try something hard, it's almost better if it takes longer, and you have to have that sustained effort. Because if it's easy the first time, you expect that every other time, and that's not the way it usually happens.
It tastes better if I always say it's the cheesy thing. We already talk about cheesiness here, but it does taste like that victory I had after 5 years of me trying. Like, it just tasted so much better than if I had it within the first 2 weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Was that you hugging Terry in one of the reels? Like you could see just the like that meant the world to you. And if it happens first try, like, yes, it's an accomplishment, but you worked your ass off for that one. So that definitely means a little more.
this is the thing with competing. It's not just me who's doing it. It's him doing it with me, right?
True.
Like, people don't understand how much something like competition prep affects their partners. And, you know, it's a big thing. Like, I feel like, or I've seen bodybuilding or competitions even broke the relationships because the other partner maybe cannot really understand it or cannot really take it. Because, just an example, right? When my calories start getting low and low, because obviously I need to get into extreme to achieve the stage condition, you obviously become moody, right? It's just a natural response, right? And, you know, over the years, I think Terry just learned, like, this is this is just how it is.
It's not
okay.
personal.
He supports me, right? But yeah, it's not personal, exactly. But I feel like people sometimes like, oh, you're so moody because, and then it can create the friction in a relationship. So this was a victory, and it still is, because he's still doing it with me. It was for both of us. It was not just me. It was him mainly supporting me through all this. There were so many times that I obviously lost, so many times I was close to the pro cards, so many times where we felt like I was robbed in a competition, because it happens. It's a subjective sport, right? Like, you can look the best and still not win, because every judge has got their own criteria in their head, so it's a bit of luck as well to be in the right competition with the right judge at the right time. And that's what happened. But it took 5 years for it to happen for me. So it was like, we just couldn't believe it. I think it took us a few days to realize that it actually happened. That
I
was
have
great.
a feeling Terry might have even been happier than you were to see you succeed. Just, because he was along the ride the whole time, and to see you finally get there, like, that's amazing.
He always liked to say he just carries my bags when we travel the world for my competition, but believe me, that's not true. Like, it's there is so much more into it. But I always just tells people, I just carry her bags, that's it, and just get to travel the world. No, it's like a proper support from day one, literally.
That's awesome.
So, and he's trying to do his first competition this year as well, because he wants a bit of taste of that.
Nice. So the roles are reversed.
He's been around bodybuilding for so long, he said, and he was like, but he just wants to try it. He's not really trying to pursue anything. He just wants to feel what it feels like,
Isn't that
so
what you said, though? Isn't that what you said? I'm just going to do one, and then it's however many years later. Wow. You guys will be moody together at the same time. That'll be awesome.
Well, we are currently in prep together. This is the first time that we are both dieting for shows.
Yeah, good luck.
This will either make us or break us down the line. It's all right for now, but when it starts getting tough, because it will, I don't know how we both gonna be handling it, but we'll see.
It sounds like you guys have gone through it at least as a group before, so you understand it's coming. Yeah, maybe you have a code word or something, and just that's you go your separate ways. You watch Netflix in different rooms at those times.
That's it. That's actually a good idea. I wanted to suggest that.
Oh, well, Hen, I appreciate you taking the time and hopping on here with me.
My pleasure.
This time kind of flew by. I didn't realize it was already 45 minutes in almost. So,
oh, wow. Yes. Wow.
Yeah. How can people get in touch with you? And I'll put everything in the show notes, but what's the best way?
The best way would be either reach out through LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm literally on LinkedIn and Instagram every single day, so I'm never going to miss any messages or anything. So if anyone wants to reach out, that's where you
and if somebody finds themselves over in England that's listening from the US, can they pop in and say hi?
Absolutely. Come to see the gym lounge.
All right. Can I put the address for the gym lounge in there in case people
Absolutely.
I will definitely do that.
Love that.
I'll definitely do that. All right. Well, thank you. And we appreciate everybody for listening. Make sure you go follow Hen on both LinkedIn and Instagram. Give her a shout out. Say hello. I'm sure she'd love to hear from you.
Thank you for having me, guys. My pleasure.
Thank you.